Welcome to Jamaican chapter. I am Nigel D. Salmon, and today I'm in the community of Aberdeen here in St. Elizabeth. And as you already seen on the thumbnail, I will be touring the Ockbrook Moravian Church here in Aberdeen, St. Elizabeth. I did start a series in which I said I'm going to be touring the old churches here in St. Elizabeth, but for a while I kind of forgot about that series, so I'm starting it up again. So today I will be touring the Ockbrook Moravian Church here in St. Elizabeth, in Aberdeen, St. Elizabeth. And this is the road that leads up to the church. I've never been up there before. Just came out of the vehicle. And here is the sign for the church. It says Ockbrook, established 1927. And it goes to say, so it's Ockbrook Moravian Church. Goes on to say public worship at 11 a.m., Sunday school 10 a.m., Saturday you have youth fellowship. So you can see the church that's active. All right, so this is the road that leads up to the church. As I said, I've never been up there before. So I've seen the pictures of the church, but I've never been up there. There's a building here that I must pass. There's a goat. Hello. Nice little goat looking back at me there. Aberdeen. I've heard about Aberdeen before, but I've never been here. You know, it's my parish, St. Elizabeth, but I've never been in the community of Aberdeen. The thing about being a YouTuber is that if you are a traveling YouTuber, I don't think I'm a traveling YouTuber, but once you're doing something journalistic, it means you have to go different places. And as we go up the hill here, I can see the church coming into view. Established 1927. So all the adults who came to this church back in those early days, the colonial days, they might be buried here. The first members of the church, first early members of the church, Ockbrook. All right, so I'm inside of the church here. Very quiet, very peaceful. And you can see at the ground it is a board floor. And they laid the carpet on top of it. Leads up to the rostrum here. So you have the rostrum here. Wow. Then looking back down, very quiet and peaceful in here. So maybe you have maybe they have a choir. I don't know if the Moravian church has a choir. Here's a picture of Lionel Taylor, JP, officer, Ockbrook Church. And this is an old picture. This may be back from the 20s. Lionel Taylor. They just say he was an officer, Ockbrook Church. And this must be his wife. It says Anna Taylor. Anna Taylor. And that's an old picture. You can see that's a picture from the early 1900s. Anna Taylor and her husband, Lionel Taylor. They probably were the early ministers or something of the church. I don't know. What's this? Okay. All right, so this is inside of the Ockbrook. Like this. In 1977, they were celebrating their 50th anniversary. It says the 50th anniversary Ockbrook, 1927 to 1977. Praise and glory the Lord. Praise and glorify the Lord. It's a lovely church. Absolutely lovely church. I believe this must be the same original ceiling from 1927 until now. So Ockbrook Moravian Church. All right, I'm gonna head back outside and we're gonna now go and visit the graves of those buried on the property here at Ockbrook Moravian Church in Aberdeen. All right, so as I said, I'm gonna start visiting the graves now on the outside. And as I'm passing this here, I notice it's an old time, you know, they call it the latrine. So this is what they probably had back in the early days. The outdoor toilets. Okay, the doors are a little hard to open. I'm gonna leave that. But it's not using again. All right, so here we are now, looking at the graves here at Ockbrook Moravian. And we have some graves down there. And then there are some up here. I'm gonna start up here since I'm already up here. And let's find out who are the individuals buried here. I'm gonna go all the way over there. My knapsack is very heavy. I know I was coming to some place that maybe I don't see any shop to buy anything, so I kind of pack my bag and I try to rest it under that tree down there. So up here seems to have the newer graves. The newer graves. Meaning the recent graves then. So I'm going to start with those two over there. And then I'll travel back down there and see who's buried down there. Can see a lot of old wreaths there. Alright, so here we're starting with the resting place of Deacon Bertie Alexander Salmon. Oh, a salmon, the first read. Sunrise, July 11, 1929 to sunset, June 1, 2022. Sadly missed by wife, children, great-grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. Rest in peace. So this is the resting place of Deacon Bertie Alexander Salmon. So he was born 1929, he died 2022. There are still wreaths here, but the wreaths have all been destroyed by the rain and the sun. And this is the resting place of, say, in loving memory of a dear father, grand and great grandfather, Albert Meir. Daylight, April 27, 1942. Twilight, June 29, 2022. (1942 to 2022). And he died in the same year as Deacon Bertie over here. Deacon Bertie died on June 1, and he died up there on June 29. Both of them are buried here, close to each other. This looks like an older grave, obviously. That's the way it looks. This says, in memory of a beloved wife, Estella C. Jones, born the 29th January 18... Okay, could this be 18... maybe 1881 or maybe 91. I think it's 90. So it's born the 29th of January 1891, died the 10th of August 1951. Estella C. Jones. I tried to find her date of birth in her records. So this is the grave of Estella C. Jones. She died all the way back in 1951. Wonder what Estella was like. You ever wonder what she was like? So there's a grave here beside Estella. There's nothing on it. There's nothing on it. It could be her husband, you know. Could be her husband. They are very close to each other. If she was married, it could be her husband. But there's nothing on it to read, so I can't do anything about that. Behind Estella, we can see that this grave had a headstone that was vertical. You can see that little piece here. Something was here standing up. Maybe that's what had the epitaph, but obviously there's nothing there. And here where I rest my bag, of course you can see again there's a grave here with something that was standing up. You can see that there was something here. It broke off maybe a long time ago because I don't see it resting anywhere here. So again, that's lost. I don't know who that is. All right. I'm going to continue right up there. I'm going to read in lines. So where I'm seeing this rum bottle, what this does this? DG or D and G, white rum, white overproof rum. So people who are here working, and I assume that they say, you know, we could use some rum before we do our work. Somebody met me recently and asked me, so you use rum when you're going out and reading graves? And I said to the individual, I said, no, I don't use rum when I'm going into graveyards. I don't. All right, so we are at the grave here of someone who, let me see. This says, in loving memory of a dear sister, Irma Colley. That's Irma Colley. Another viewer of my channel said, oh, you need to bring somebody with you to read these difficult names. But as you know, Jamaican chapter is a one-man thing. So Irma Colley, she was born in 1972, not a long time ago, and died in 1990. She was young. She was about 18 years old then. This is a young 18-year-old Irma. No wonder they say sister and there's no mother or grandmother or something like that. So Irma, young Irma, I believe she was maybe 18 years old. Hopefully I find something on her and find out why she died at 18 years old. Beside Irma here, we can see they tiled up this grave, but seemed like they were planning on putting something there. Well, there's nothing there. All right, so here beside this grave, we have the resting place of Wendell Astley. See, in loving memory of our dear beloved father and grandfather, Wendell Astley Salmon. Another Salmon, I wonder if we're related. He was born on September 20, 1931, and he died on November 9, 2021. This is the grave of Wendell Astley Salmon. I wonder why they put an iron board on his headstone. See that iron board right there? I don't know why. Sometimes they put picture if it says something about the person's life, but a iron board, I don't know. It's very quiet out here, or up here. Very quiet, you know. This grave has a wreath, meaning that which indicates that the individual was buried not too long ago. This is the resting place of Jacqueline Taylor Thompson. So she was Jacqueline Taylor, and then she married into the Thompson family. She was born May 19, 1965, and she died July 26, 2020. And below it they said, the best wife, mother, grandmother, daughter, sister, and aunt. And over the other side is something long. It says, you toiled hard, now you rest. We are proud you are ours, truly the best. Grace was in your steps, heaven in your eyes, for eternity or a lifetime. Your love never dies until we meet again, rest in God's hands. The grave of Jacqueline Taylor Thompson, 1965 to 2024. This looks like a new grave too. Nothing is added onto it yet. It's not even painted. So I'm not sure whose resting place this is. It's close beside Jacqueline. This is the resting place of Doris Maud Porter. At the top of it they said, she fought a good fight. And then her name, Doris Maud Porter. Sunrise November 23, 1921. Sunset February 22, 2019. Say, beloved mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother, blessed are the dead, that they may rest from their labors. Revelation 14, verse 13. So this is the resting place of Doris Maud Porter. She lived from the 1920s to the 2019. We are here at the resting place of this look a little difficult to read. I think it's Lillieth Taylor. That's the name, Lillieth. Say, in loving memory of a dear daughter and sister, Lillieth Taylor, March 27, 1962 to October 30, 1972. That's a young girl then. 1962 to 1972. She was 10 years old. Let me look at her grave. Is that the grave of a 10-year-old? Yeah. She was 10 years old when she died in 1972. I want to get the name right so I can search her record properly. It's say Lillieth, Lillieth, Lillieth Taylor. Lillieth Taylor. She was 10 years old when she died. These three graves look like they are related. That these people are related. All right, let me read their graves. Says, in loving memory of a devoted mother, Esther Smith, who departed this life 1st May 1966, age 93. So Esther Smith died on May 1, 1966 at age 93. There's another Smith here, so believe this person is related to Esther. Say, in loving memory of a dear husband and father, this looks like it's a shortening of a name, you know. It could be Thomas. Even though it's a Thos, but I think it's a shortening for Thomas. No, Thomas. Okay, I'm going to search up the record as Thomas. I put it on the screen if I find it. So, Thomas N. Smith, who died the 3rd of September, 1953, age 86 years. When did he die? 1953 at age 86. So, I believe this is the husband. He is the husband and she is the wife. Because she died in 1966 at age 93 and he died at 1953 at age 86. So yeah, husband and the wife. So if that's the husband and the wife, then who is this over here? Another Smith. See, in memory of our dear brother Harold Smith, died the 12th of October 1965, age 62. I'll try to figure out how they are related because I'm not sure how Harold is related to the other two up there. But if you look at their graves, you can see that they join them. It's just that they'll start breaking up now. But they join them together right there. So they're family. This is the resting place of Joyce May Hines. It says, precious memories of a devoted mother, great and great-grandmother, sister and aunt, Joyce May Hines. August 26, 1922, that's when she born, to January 1, 2009. She was 86 years old. Joyce May Hines. This says, at rest, in loving memory of a dear husband and father, Ralston Everald Hines, born the 24th of January. Let me say it the way it is written. Born the 24th of the 1, 1923, died the 6th of the 12, 1973. So, he was born in 1923, he died in 1973. That means he was what? 50 years old? Yeah. He was 50 years old when he died. Ralston Everald Hines. This is the resting place of Mostella Dixon. It says, in loving memory of a dear mother, Mostella Dixon, died the 3rd of July, 1976, age 80. Nice headstone here, Mostella. Absolutely nice headstone there. Look at this one. Lovely. This says, in loving memory of a dear mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother, Myrtle Walfall. Walfall. I've never heard that last name before. Walfall. Born June 20, 1920. Died April 19, 2009. Gone from our presence, but not from our hearts. Myrtle Louise Walfall. 1920 to 2009. So she born in colonial days, and she lived long enough to see the new century. Oh, nice flower pot here. Nice flower pot on the grave of... Let me see whose grave is this. There's a picture of her here. That's a picture of her. Say, in loving memory of a dear daughter, wife, sister, niece, and great friend to all. Alright, this name is gonna hit me like a... Nzinga Ava Karadis. Oh boy. She was called Zingha. Zingha or Zinga. She was born June 29, 1988, and she died on January 28. She died on January 28, 2021. Not long ago at all. And that's a picture of her, as I've said. That's a picture of her, just giving that broad laugh, you know. All right, the resting place of Zinga. She just died in 2021. Such a beautiful smile. Or laugh. I think she was laughing at that point when that picture was taken. All right, this grave has nothing on it. This is the resting place of... This is Martha Matilda Williams. So Martha Matilda Williams, and she was called Amma. She was born the 27th of the 2, 1910, and she died the 23rd of the 9, 2005. Martha Matilda Williams. These kind of headstones are a little difficult to read. This is another Williams. Not sure if I can read it. Let me see what it says. Joseph. Is that Joseph? Yeah, like it says, Joseph Samuel Williams. 1912 to 1993. Is that Joseph? Yeah. Joseph Samuel Williams. 1912 to 1993. So he might have been the husband and she the wife. The graves are designed similar tiles and headstones. Did somebody put this here purposely? Were they eating something and leave it here? That appears to be the case. So this is the resting place of, like it says, Irving Arthur Dunn. So, in loving memory of a beloved husband, father, and grandfather, Irving Arthur Dunn, born 1916, died 1997. The Dunns tend to be rich people, no. Dunn, D-U-N-N. Yes, tend to be rich people, you know. So there's another Dunn up here again. Says, in loving memory of a dear mother, grand and great grandmother, Winifred Dunn. Sunrise May 15, 1921 to sunset April 6, 2001. Winifred Dunn. From afar, I can see this other one is a Dunn also. Love the tile. When you tile your house with this kind of tile, your house look like an office. Look like an expensive place. All right. Says, in loving memory of a beloved husband, father, grandfather, great-grandfather, James Aubrey Dunn. James Aubrey Dunn. Born October 21, 1917, died April 16, 2013. So we have the Dunns here, buried here. Not Dunns, Dunn. Persons from the Dunn family. James Aubrey Dunn died in 2013. Died in 2013. Winifred Dunn died 2001. And Irving Arthur Dunn died way back in 1997. Right, so I'm going to read all these graves here before we go all the way down there. There are mango trees over here. There are mango trees. You can see from down there. And there are mango trees here. Mango trees there. And there are also coconut trees. So it's a fruitful property. Fruitful or fruity, whatever the case is. Property with a lot of fruits. Fruit trees. All right. We're here at the resting place of look at this grave here. This is the resting place of Iselin Bernita or Bernitia Peart Hunter. So she was born Iselin Peart and she married into the Hunter family. So it's Iselin Peart Hunter. Born November 25, 1906. Died July 14, 1997. 1906. Can you imagine that day when Iselin was born in 1906? You know, 1906. Colonial Jamaica, a different time. Marcus Garvey was around. So many people, who have died. Here we are at the resting place of Inez Taylor. Her grave says, in memory of a beloved wife, mother, grand and great grandmother, Inez Taylor, sunrise June 7, 1928, to sunset May 19, 2008. He restores my soul. That's what they put at the last part of her epitaph. Inez Taylor, 1928 to 2008. Her grave is joined to the grave of another Taylor. And I assume this is her husband. Say, in loving memory of our father, grandfather, and great grandfather, Beresford Taylor. So that's Beresford Taylor. He was born on April 7, 1923, and he died May 6, 2010. So he was born before his wife. His wife was born in 1928 and died 2008. He was born 1923 and died 2010. So he lived longer than his wife. And there's another Taylor over here. This must have been their son. And this is the grave of Arthur Lloyd Taylor. I am going to assume that this is a son of theirs. Say, in loving memory of our father, grandfather, brother, uncle, and friend, Arthur Lloyd Taylor. Sunrise October 21, 1946. Sunset January 26, 2021. So I believe this is a son of the two who are buried there, Beresford and Inez. All right, so I have read out all the graves over on this side. There are more land over there, I see orange trees over there. So now it's time to make a visit down there to see who are the persons buried down there.
I don't think so. No, 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 no. I don't think so. No, 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 no. It's never, ever, 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 ever gonna happen. I don't think so. No, 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 no. I don't think so. No, 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 no. It's never, ever, 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 ever gonna happen.
This is the tomb of Zekiah White. It says, in loving memory of a dear husband and adopted father, Zekiah White, born May 1, 1910, died October 8, 1985. So they say adopted father, so that's an adopted son or daughter who must have wrote this epitaph. I say, in loving memory of a dear husband and adopted father, Zekiah White, 1910 to 1985. And beside Zekiah, we have Elizabeth White. So this is the wife, I believe. The graves are joined together. On his name, the White is spelled with a Y. On her name, it is spelled with a I. So that could just be a difference in the people who built the headstones. So the person who built this headstone wrote it with an I. So it say, in loving memory of a dear aunt, Elizabeth White, and she was called Aunt Jane. Born the 7th of November 1913, died the 23rd of May 2004. So she lived like about 19 years after Zekiah over there. This is a nice tomb, all grilled around. Says, in loving memory of a dear husband and father, Aston Ellison Walfall. I've read a Walfall before. Aston Ellison Walfall, March 23, 1915 to September 15, 1989. This is a grave of another Dunn. The Dunn from a woman from the Dunn family. Says, in loving memory of dear Jennifer Dunn, sunrise the 16th of the 8th, 1952, sunset the 23rd of the 5th, 2002. The grave of Jennifer Dunn. Another Dunn, a loving mom, Ruby Elaine Dunn. Born the 12th of the 1, 1944, died the 15th of the 9, 2020. Let me go over here. So we're under some willow tree here, and it's shedding its, could you call a willow tree having leaf? That's not leaf. This is a willow tree. I don't know if you want to call this leaf. This the thing of it. It would on another tree you'd say leaf, but these things, they're shedding off on the graves, right? In loving memory of Winston White, November 25, 1942 to January 5, 2022. So Winston White, he died not too long ago. We are now in 2025. This is September 2025. I'll put the date on the screen. I have one of my viewers said I must tell the date when I visit the cemeteries. So I'll add the date for this video, the date when I'm recording it on the screen like now. All right, so we're at the resting place of he was born on July 10, 1975, died on July 14, 2000. Seems like there are a lot of whites buried here. A lot of persons from the White family. This is Miss Ethelyn White. Ethelyn White. Say, in loving memory of Mrs. Ethelyn White, September 12, 1912 to September 10, 1985. Miss Ethelyn White. Mr. Leonard White. Mr. Leonard White, May 14, 1904 to July 8, 1996, age 92. Mr. Leonard White. 1904 to 1996. This is the resting place. I don't know if it's a resting place. I'll tell you why later. Say, in loving memory of Ida Maud Ricketts, died October 2, 1979, age 71. That's Ida Maud Ricketts. October 2, 1979 that she died. And she died at age 71. Somebody came here, and this is not the act of a dog. This was the act of a human. Somebody came here and they dug right there. They dug out this big hole under Ida Maud Ricketts' grave, and they messed up her remains under there. So it's a resting place of Ida Maud Ricketts, a 71-year-old lady. But the question is, though, does your remains matter? I don't know. It's not you anymore, but still, it's disrespectful to do that. Beside Ida, we have the grave of John Ricketts, died September 2, 1978, age 80. So I believe these are husband and wife. So Ida over there, and you have John Ricketts. So John Ricketts died in September 2, 1978 at age 80. Then Ida died the following year on October 2, 1979. We are here at the tomb of Reginald Turner, 1904 to 1993. A dear father. He is described as a dear father. Reginald Turner. Beside Reginald Turner is another Turner, Sarah Turner. Sarah Turner died September 4, what appears to be 1970. This is Jasper Cargill Tyrrell. He was called Bob. Born October 1909 and he died in October 1989. So maybe he was about 80 years old. Bob. It was called Bob. This grave has different names on it. I'm gonna call it nameplates for the lack of the right word. So it says, that's the name, Senda Molly Heron. She was called Aunt Maud. She was born the 3 of the 8th, 1905, and she died on the 31 of the 10, 2005. Then on her grave are some nameplates here. I'm not sure if these individuals were cremated and then these things placed here. So maybe underneath this is the ash of the individual who died. I don't know. But I have to read it. It says Joanna Ophelia Tyrrell, 15 of the 11, 1907 to the 29 of the 12, 2004. Olivia Victoria Wigan, she was called Aunt Olive, the 22 of the 11, 1909 to the 9 of the 1, 2005. And Hal Anthony Ellis, he was called Tony, the 17 of the 7, 1936 to the 25 of the 5, 2007. So all these individuals here, Joanna, Olivia, and Hal, I believe they were cremated and their remains placed there. But this is absolutely the grave of Cinda Molly Heron, Aunt Maud. Yes. This is the resting place of Cyrus B. Heron. It say, in loving memory of a beloved husband, father, and grandfather, Cyrus B. Heron, Uncle Cy. He was born in 1914 and he died on December 17, 1991. There's another Heron over here. This is Vanny Arita Heron, Nee Rowe. Alright, so she was born Vanny Arita Rowe, and she married into the Heron family. September 19, 1924 to February 16, 2012. Yvonne Allison Turner, born March 14, 1943, called to rest December 17, 2000. And below that it say, servant of God, well done, gone but never forgotten. The grave of Yvonne Allison Turner, 1943 to the year 2000. This is the resting place of Charles Taylor. He was called Tooth. That's Charles Taylor. Tooth. Died September 19, 1984, age 84. Which means that he was born in 1900. Charles Taylor. This grave is small. This is a small grave. Very small grave. So it's a grave of a child. Let me see how old this child was. Let me read the entirety. It says, in memory of our beloved son and grandson, Mark Anthony, 1971 to 1974. Is Anthony a surname? I don't know. I never heard the name Anthony as a surname. But that's all on it. It's a Mark Anthony. Right, so this is the grave of a 3-year-old boy. 1971. He would be in his 50s now. Right? If he was alive. But he didn't make it. This is an old grave. It's all grill around. And the headstone. Some of it is all rubbed out. So let me see what I can make of it. Say, in memory of a dear husband and father, Alfred E. Taylor, J.P. So he was a justice of the peace. Can I make out anything else? Aged. Like it say 88 or something. And when did he die? I'd love to see when he died. Anyway, Alfred Taylor. Don't see anything else. I see there are things there, but it's so a long time ago. It's all rubbed out. Okay. I don't know when he died. Alfred Taylor. I don't know if I can find his record and figure it out. Behind Alfred, this is very short. So maybe it's an urn underneath it. Could this be Ed? This is the resting place of Myrtle Gwendolyn. That's Myrtle Gwendolyn. Where is the last name? Say daughter of Anna Taylor. Okay, so maybe her last name then would be Taylor. Myrtle Gwendolyn, daughter of Lionel and Anna Taylor. So her full name would be Myrtle Gwendolyn Taylor. Born the 27th of September 1912, died the 29th of September 1960. This grave is under some willow limb. This is the resting place of Adina Dunn Whittingham. So that's Adina Dunn Whittingham. Died the 24th of November 1963. That's Adina Dunn Whittingham. These graves are under the willow tree. So I have to work my way through. This is the resting place of Winifred Taylor. Born January 18, 1912. Died November 25, 1984. Winifred Taylor. And beside Winifred here, beside Winifred here, we have the resting place of Beryl Adina Kenny. Ooh. And they describe her as mother, sister, aunt. Born May 24, 1911. Died June 6, 1977. Beryl Adina Kenny. She was Nee Taylor. So she was born Beryl Adina Taylor. And then she married to the Kenny family. I've never heard the last name Kenny because they have Nee Taylor here. And Nee means previous. So it's Beryl Adina Kenny Nee Taylor. So she might be related to some of the Taylors buried here before her marriage came into being. I'm going to go all the way down here. Oh, I don't know if I can read this. Ronald Earl Taylor Sr. February 3, 1905 to April 1, 1994. Ronald Earl Taylor. And this may be the mother and the husband and the wife. I mean, mother and the wife, because you have father, assumedly the son. And here we have Violet Maud Taylor, faithful wife, loving mother, devoted Christian, nurse, friend. Born December 2, 1905, died July 8, 1990. So, yeah, man, this is the wife, the husband, son, all the way over there. I believe I'm correct. Anthony Taylor, father, son, brother. Born the 24 of the 11, 1939, died the 6th of the 11, 1987. Likely that Anthony Taylor here was the son of Violet and Ronald. And maybe that's his brother way over there. There's another Taylor here. All the Taylor are buried in line here. Hold on. It says, in loving memory of our dear mother, Anna R. Taylor, born the 18th of April, 1877, died the 7th of June, 1967. And this is her husband. In loving memory of a dear husband and father, Lionel Taylor, born the 3rd of June, 1877, died the 10th of December, 1962. So this is what I think is the case. Lionel Taylor and Anna Taylor are the parents of Ronald Taylor. Then Ronald Taylor married to Violet and have Anthony and Ronald down there. So these are the matriarchs. These are the first ones. And then their son, his wife, and children down there, because they all share the Taylor name. These are new graves. They appear to be new. This is a new ornament, appear to be new. They make space for the headstones. They are not yet added. Yes. So these are the two last graves here. These are the two last graves here. Are those graves down there? Let me look down here. What are those things down here? No, they're just stones. Thought they were old graves. No, those are just stones. All right. So I have read all the graves here. at Ockbrook Moravian Church here in Aberdeen, St. Elizabeth. Another interesting churchyard tour, and I will be continuing the series of showing graveyards here in St. Elizabeth, as well as other parishes. Thanks for watching, and I see you again in another interesting video like this.